Hi, sorry for that. I was muted by the host. Recognizing the presence of District 20 Director DTM Alifia Lafdawala. Also recognizing the presence of District 20 Program Quality Director DTM Khalid Abdullah and the event chair Toastmaster Vishal. Distinguished Toastmasters and honorable guests present here today. Let me welcome all of you to the Day 4 educational session of DTAC 2022. Before we get the show on the road, I want to set a few rules which we have to follow. First is obviously silence is a virtue. So please keep yourselves muted unless asked to unmute by the role player. And if you have to move away, and which we really hope you don't have to move away, if you have to move away from the screen, please make sure that you off your video also. Now for the role players, please make sure that you have connected from a device which has a lot of charge and also a stable internet connection. And also we hope that you have followed the naming criteria as required by the host and co-host to identify you. Now that that's out of the way, let me read the Toastmasters, the District 20 policy, which is we help build new clubs and support all clubs in achieving excellence. Now let me move on to the next role that I have to do, which is introducing the TMOD. She was born in 1975, raised in the Pearl of Mediterranean, Alexandria, Egypt. Member of Toastmasters since 2021 and has been holding the VPM position since that date. She is the winner of the Triple Crown. She's a Triple Crown winner and also the winner of the 5-member sponsorship pin award in February 2022. More than 20 years of work experience in multinational organizations like Vodafone and ExxonMobil, and currently owning her own company as a business developer. Master's and doctorate degree of business administration from the Faculty of Alexandria, Egypt, a certified trainer with plus 5,000 hours for soft skills, sales, marketing, and management. Business coach for individuals as well as corporations for more than 10 years in both public and private sectors. Her passion to revive ethics and personal skills of individuals and societies alike to ultimately make people walk the talk. I really need to drink water after reading this whole introduction. Please, ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for the Toastmaster of the day, Toastmaster Hoor Karusa. The stage is all yours.
Hello, everyone. Am I allowed to share my screen? Hello, everyone. Am I audible? Can you see my screen? Thank you so much. Hello, everyone. Good evening. I would like to acknowledge our beloved directors, presidents, committee members, officers, role players, judges, distinguished members, contestants, and guests. Today, we meet on the 4th day of the DTAC, an annual ceremony. No, actually a week of continuous excitement. It captures all your senses. And between me and you, it only matters if you care. As Theodore Roosevelt, the 26th President of the United States, said, I don't care how much you know until I know how much you care. So put your energy to it, sharpen your skills, work hard to leave a good impression. You never know who you are inspiring. Here I am talking to you from Alexandria, Egypt, speaking in English away from my native Arabic language. Others joining the meeting from Iraq, Bahrain, Kuwait, and other places around the world. But still, we are bonding. With the blessings of talking the same language, expressing the same passion and interest to Toastmaster values, respect, integrity, service, and trust. Gathered with multiple cultures, ethnic groups, religions, but we still bond. We conquer geographical borders and political ideologies, break stereotypes, uncover personal potential of each individual. I would like to introduce another border of motivation, a core value, a reason to think about For me, why did I join Toastmasters? Well, my personal reason is to know how to motivate people outside the corporate life, especially in nonprofit organizations. In Maslow's hierarchy of needs, please, in the chat box, write your own personal point of view. Why did you join Toastmasters from Maslow's hierarchy of needs point of view? Well, there is no wrong or right answer. It all depends on you and how you portray yourself. Some people, their lives depend on it, on how well they communicate with others and how well they lead others. Others view Toastmaster as a place to belong to, family, a group to trust, a comfort zone to exercise and practice your skills of development. Well, this is not all. Some are here among us because they are givers. And by giving, they become happier. They become better people. Please recognize them, applaud them, send them gratitude and thank you notes. You can never imagine the impact it has on them. That is why they are here. These are our mentors, our leaders, and quoting one of them, partners in progress. Last but not least, wherever you are in this triangle, please be an advocate of empathy for others. You really don't know what they're passing through or where they want to be. Well, I've talked too much. Now, I would like to introduce the entertainment scoop team, led by Farisa Ahsan. Farisa Ahsan, a mother of 3 kids, a teacher by profession, a sports woman by heart, and a Toastmaster by soul. Being an active and dynamic member for the past 3 years at Sims Toastmaster Club, she was president and currently holding vice president of membership role. She has been a contestant for several times and she made it to division level. Her life motto is, be the change you wish to see the world in. Please put your hand together for Master of Entertainment Scoop, Toastmaster Farisa Ahsan.
Oh, very good evening once again to everyone. I'm sure you guys saw my expressions without the words. So I am super excited, honored, and I feel very privileged to be doing this segment tonight with you all lovely audience. Well, when I was getting prepared for this segment tonight, I came across this very amazing fun fact, which I'd want to share, that people during meetings, that is 73% of people work on other things while they're in a meeting, or 9 out of 10 daydream during the meetings. Well, tonight is the time to prove this fact wrong, my friends. So please open your cameras and volunteer, because we are ready for an exciting segment. I need to showcase how a team works as we all talk about it in Toastmasters. So can I have some volunteers opening their cameras and ready to start tonight's exciting segment? I can see some. Yes, please, everyone, open your cameras. So I need to see some happy, smiling people and, all excited for tonight's segment. Yes, thank you very much. I need some more. Excellent. I see my team members. Thank you. And come on, Noor. our PQD, Toastmaster Khalid Abdullah, I'd love for you to join Dr. Athari. If you could open your camera, Prabodha, all of you guys, if you can, please be a part. I need at least 10 of you to, or 8, I would say 8 of you to open your, I need the help of the moderator to do this. Please unmute the people who volunteer. Can I see some hand raise or some emojis that you are willing to open your cameras? Excellent. It's a very simple game to begin with. I just need you guys to count from 1 to 10. As simple as that. Could any game be that simple? Come on. This is a very simple game, so do not hesitate to come forward. A simple counting from 1 to 10. So once I have my volunteers, if I see some hand raises, yes, I can see Asil. So please unmute her. And any more? So Master Xavier, can we unmute you?
All cameras
get
open can be
permission?
muted.
Yes, please.
It's a given that these people are ready.
All right. I can see we have some more people coming in. Excellent. So please unmute the participants. I think all, like Faria said, people who have their cameras on are all ready to play. It's a very simple one. I'm telling you, there's no surprises here. A simple counting from 1 to 10, which is going to set a perfect example of teamwork here. All right. So I will tell you the rules. Moderator, can you unmute the participants?
It is all can unmute themselves.
Oh, you can. Okay, perfect. So volunteers, please unmute yourself. And the rule is, I will start by saying 1, and the others will continue counting, but you cannot say anything else other than the number. All right, that's rule number 1. And you cannot give any instructions to your fellow team members by saying, I'll say this number and you say that. You cannot do that. That's rule number 2. So other than that, you can be observant. You can watch for your friend's body language and figure out what number might that person say. So you can do that. And as soon as we overlap a number, like for example, I say 1 and 2 of you say 2 together, we're going to restart counting from 1. All right, until we get the sequence right from 1 to 10 without overlapping, without giving each other any instructions of I say this and you say that. Not happening. All right, so we redo that. So can you please unmute yourself? Asil is unmuted. Anybody else can also unmute yourself, please. Thank you, Toastmaster Vishal. Do I have any more volunteers? Our PQD, Toastmaster Khalid, yes, please. All right. Anybody else? Our MC, would you like to participate? Toastmaster Xavier, Hazel has unmuted, thank you. Prabodha, would you want to unmute yourself?
Little bit busy, some.
So I was right about my fact. People are multitasking during meetings. All right. Anybody else who wants to prove that fact wrong and who is not doing anything else but just being entertained tonight? Thank you. See, this is not, we're like sitting in the breakout room. I want to see your hands. All right. All right. So the people who have been unmuted are Asil, Toastmaster Xavier, Toastmaster Hazel, our MC, beautiful Toastmaster Hoor, Toastmaster Vishal, and our PQD, Toastmaster Khalid. All right. So we have 7 people, including myself would be 8. And I will start by saying number 1, and the others can continue counting. So remember, if you overlap a number, we start again, and you will not give directions. The only thing you can say is the number. Are you ready?
Yes.
All right. So here I go. 1,
2, 3.
3,
4,
5,
6,
7,
8,
9.
10.
Wow. Well, thank you, Toastmaster. See, I knew Toastmasters could do this. Set a perfect example of team spirit. Now, we took a long pauses in between, which was good trick. But now let's do this a little faster. All right, let's do this one more time. I will go first again. 1, 2.
2,
Team. Okay, we overlapped here. Start again. 1,
2,
3.
4,
There we go again. Start again. 1, 2,
3.
3. 4. Vika, you need to open your
5.
camera so we can see your body movement
6,
and figure out you're going to say a
7.
number. 8.
8.
Overlap. All right, let's do this one more time. Toastmaster Vika, do you want to open your camera? No? All right, so remember we have Toastmaster Vika who keeps propping numbers but does not want to show himself. All right,
He's
there he is.
driving.
Thank you. All right, we start again. All right, 1,
2,
3,
4,
5,
6.
6.
Here we go again. See, some of us has got the idea. We're showing numbers, we're doing body languages here, but then yeah, the others need to catch up, right? All right, let's do it once more. 1,
2,
3,
4,
5,
6.
6. I was showing 6.
7. Let's complete. 7. What's the next number? 8. Next.
Go on, Asil.
7, 8, 9, 10. Thank you, Asila. She's like, I'm done. I'll complete it all. Thank you.
No one was speaking, so I thought I'd speak.
Yeah, see, this is what happens when you have to speed up. People are hesitant, like they're waiting. Body language, do I get something? But yeah, you get the idea. It was fun. Thank you so much. And now that I have these cameras open, please keep them. And because I have another exciting game. So let's move on to our next game, where I want you guys to get something, anything, choose any object from around you, anything, just anything at all. It can be just anything. Don't show it to me. Don't show it to us. Just choose anything. And when I ask you, I need you to show me and then I'll tell you what to do with that. All right. So everyone has picked an object for themselves. Yes. All right. Okay. So ready? Toastmaster Hazel, do you have an object?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So can you tell us what that is?
It's a book.
It's a book. Perfect. Now, my question to you is, can you talk about, oh, sorry, before I do that, our timer, Toastmaster Verity, are you ready? I'll give you like 30 seconds to 1 minute to answer the question that I'm going to ask you right now. All right. So before I ask you the question, let me just, all right, perfect. I've got a thumbs up. Thank you. All right. Now, the question to you is, what is, or what are the similarities you can tell us between you and the book?
Yeah, the book is, I feel that it's more like I'm a storyteller. So the book, I mean, any book has a number of stories. Any book has a number of stories. So I too have a lot of stories to tell. So, I feel that that's a similarity between me and the book.
Perfect. Anything else you can think of? I think the audience that I have can also type in if you feel there are any similarities between yourself and the book. You can help out. We'd like to get some more ideas, like as funny and logical or illogical. I mean, illogical would be too much, but logical and funny would be most welcoming. Yeah, please give me some similarities you find between yourself and a book, if there are any. Toastmaster Hazel, are you done?
Yeah.
All right, perfect. Thank you. All right, I can see someone is, our PPT is reminding us of the time. Okay. This
Someone
is the
asked what time is
entertainment
it now?
segment going on, and I'm here for another 15 to 20 minutes. So rest assured, you guys are going to be enjoying this time with me. All right. All right. So next, who's ready? Let's see. I see Toastmaster. All right, Asil. Toastmaster Asil, what object do you have? A pen. Excellent. Now, my question to you is, what are the differences you find between yourself and the pen?
Between myself and what?
Between yourself and the pen, what is different, except for the fact that you are a living thing and that's a non-living thing? What other differences do you find between yourself and the pen?
For example, I think I have so many ideas when I write a speech. I have many ideas, many things I need to brainstorm. The pen here, it just writes what I tell it to, what I tell it to write. Pen, I want to brainstorm this part. I want to brainstorm this. I want to talk about this. It just follows my command. I'm the leader, and it just writes what I want. Let's see, what do I talk about in this speech? Pen, I want you to write this. Pen, I want you to write that. No questions asked. It just obeys orders.
Yes, definitely. I wish the pen had more powers. It would
And
really
Asil
help me
doesn't
during
obey
my
orders. Is
exam.
that it, Asil? You do not obey orders at all?
Just my mom's order.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Thank you. All right. Who's up for it next? Do I have any more volunteers? Who
Toastmaster
else? Okay,
Vishal.
Toastmaster Vishal. Perfect. So Toastmaster Vishal, what object do you have?
I have a glass of water.
All right. Now, my question for you is, well, the glass of water has its own purpose. Without talking about what its actual purpose is, what other uses can you tell us about that glass of water, other than the actual purpose of helping you quench your thirst?
Well, glass of water is your weapon of choice when you have an argument. And this is the most easily available choice that you can throw it on another person, because this is, and it is still considered very decent because a lot of movies do accept this practice. This glass of water can also help me avoid doing my homework. I can just spill it on my paper and I say that it just dropped. So it saves me from getting a scold from my teacher if I have not done my. This glass of water is also, it is an attention seeker. So if my mom is not doing some, I mean, if I'm asking something and my mom's not doing it, I can just pass it. And, I mean, just let it fall on the ground. So then it gets wet and then it makes a lot of noise. So it is also like, I mean, it's also just like a doorbell, it gets attention. And yeah, that's it. Thank you.
That's it. Thank you so much. All right. So now we know what other uses you have of a glass of water. It can do so much. Who knew, right? All right. Who else is up for? Anybody else ready with their Toastmaster Xavier, I can see some movement there. Are you ready? Oh, perfect. So you have, okay, you have a remote control. How about if you sell this remote control to our to our MC? Let's see if she wants to buy that from you. Yeah.
Hi, good evening, Toastmasters. This is a wonderful remote control, which I want to sell to this our beautiful MC to tell you that this has got a lot of features in it. The most important thing is it is like a Toastmasters MC or Sergeant at Arms or any role in Toastmasters you can link with this. You can mute people, you can unmute people. You can control the voice modulations of the people, and you can literally make the speaker or the audience control with your remote control. So why don't you choose this beautiful remote control? Also, remotely sitting, you don't make your presence, but still you can make big objects controlled by this beautiful device. Okay, so I would suggest that how our beautiful MC today, why don't you buy this remote and make use of it and become a better Toastmaster? Over to you.
I want it
Wow,
already.
thank you so much. So Toastmaster, what do you think? Do you want to get the remote? Perfect. All right. So now one more participant of, I don't want to see the object that you have. Instead, I would like you to tell me on my personal, on the chat, or what your object is. And I will give you 2 taboo words which you cannot use, and use other means to explain the object that you have chosen for yourself. And let's see if our friends here can guess what object it is that you have chosen. So if you can just send me the object name that you have chosen. Anybody who wants to volunteer? Okay. Wouldn't that be similar to what we had? Yeah. Do you want to choose another object? Maybe. Anything else? How about something that we use very often? And then I'll just give you 2 taboo words which you cannot say. And then you can, come on, anybody else? I can see a lot of, can I call out your names? Toastmaster Fatima, Mark Brown, Manju and Naga. Come on, guys. All right, perfect. You chose one. Okay, so our PQD, Toastmaster Khalid, is ready with, and I will send him 2 taboo words which he cannot use. And then without saying those words, he has to explain the audience what it is, that object that he has. All right, there you go. No actions, please.
Thank you so much, Entertainment Master. Good evening, everyone. The object that I'm using, or that I use, all of us use every day. And I use it specifically to multitask. And at times I really hate it, that I just want to throw it away and live without it in peace for longer hours. But that sense of addiction will let you hold that object and keep on. I think someone already wrote it in the chat.
Yes. Yes, our beautiful MC has got that right. Perfect, thank you.
It's easier, simple one.
She got, what exact part did you get you guess the object?
The addiction.
Toastmaster Hoor, can you tell me, like, what did he say? And you know, this is what it is.
The addiction. You can, and multitasking. Like, you know.
I thought you did the part when he said, I want to throw it off. I don't want it anymore. We all say that, but 1 hour, it's like, oh, you can't live without it then, right? You need to check, oh, someone's messaged me. All right, so with this, we conclude today's scavenger hunt. Now, I have another game, which I need the help of the moderator for this. I need the moderator to share a few slides of a few logos that I have collected for you guys. And you need to, very simple, just guess the logo. So, are you up for it? As soon as you see the logo, you can start typing the correct answer, if you know, in the chat. And the first person to get the right answer, you've got it right, you're the winner. All right, so as simple as that. Are you ready for the first one?
The champ is here! The champ is here!
Don't hesitate to participate. Put in your answers. Ready? Here we go. That's an easy one. Where do you think you've seen this? There you go. We have a lot of answers pouring in. I think I'm just giving too much time for you guys to answer. I have a lot of people answering. That is right. The correct answer is Adidas. Perfect. Thank you. And the first person to answer is Toastmaster Xavier. Excellent. All right. Yes.
It was Toastmaster Khalid Abdullah who was first to answer, actually.
Oh, the first one? I'm sorry that I missed it. I'm sorry. My bad.
RPQD,
Right.
Khalid Abdullah.
Congratulations. Are you ready to move to the next one? All right, so here it is. The logo is, I'm sure the girls should get this right. Yes. Now we know who uses this the most. And the correct answer is Chanel. That's right. So we know who uses this. Thank you. There we have extra information. Toastmaster Hoor, thank you so much. That is right. That is the exact answer. I also saw someone write Charter Club. I'm sure she's the division director, Toastmaster Madeline. The motto of creating new clubs and supporting it. Definitely with you on that one. All right. So are you
We
ready?
have another interesting take on this by Toastmaster Khalifa. It's the Titanic viewed from the side.
Yes, that was for Adidas. All right. Thank you, audience, for pouring in your answers. Let's move to the next one. Are you ready? And here it is. Let's see if you get this one. Oops. Okay, I underestimated my crowd. I took time to get this one right, to be honest. Imposter. I thought of that as well.
Don't play imposter, but it was just a guess.
Yes. My first reaction was, why is the alien holding the power weapon of pen? All right, so the correct answer is Bic, the pen brand. So if you are one of those people who love writing and putting down your thoughts, you know what this is. And once again, the winner is Toastmaster Hoor to get the answer correct. Good job. Now, let's move on to the next one. Are you ready? And here it is. There you go. Come on, people. Let's get this right. That is so quick. Yeah, why type the whole thing again? Just copy paste the answers. The people who get this answer so quickly, I want to know if you have the, the guess the logo app on your phone. I know some people love playing that game, right? I had that for a while until the logos were too hard for me to guess, and then I had to Google it and get them right, so I stopped using that app. So yes, the correct answer is Wikipedia. Congratulations. And this time the winner is Toastmaster Asil. Great job. All right, are you ready for more, guys? We have more. The next one coming up is this one. Come on, get this one right. There, I can see some people putting some thought to it. The level got a little hard this time. Voice thought. Well, we will know the answer. And the correct answer to this one is, I really don't know where this is, but I just know this is Douche Post. So I really don't know what logo this is for, but this I have to ask my moderator who got this on the slide. He will tell us what exactly this one is. Yeah, I guess so. I'm not sure. I'm really not sure. I have to Google this myself. I told you I stopped playing this game long time back. So I don't know what this is. I'm sorry.
Yeah, this is the post in this country. Touch.
We have someone saying some German postal thing. Is that right?
Postal.
Is it a German
That's
thing?
correct. Yes.
Perfect. You've got it.
That's
Thank you. All right. So we do have one more. Yes.
One last.
Are you ready for the next one? And our next logo is. Thank you, Maria. Okay. Yes. We know this one. That is right. And yes, the correct answer is already in the chat. It is Taco Bell. That's right. And the person to get this right is Toastmaster Xavier. Congratulations.
My sister
I should do
loves
this again
Taco
with
Bell.
the fastest finger first.
My
Sorry?
sister loves Taco Bell.
Yes, I guessed the people who go there the most often, I'm sure they'll get it. Yeah, actually, you're right, Toastmaster Khalifa. But he was like, he's so much in love with him, he's on first term basis with the brand. So just taco is good enough for him. Well, I'm sure Asil wouldn't mind sharing, since she is also in love with that place so much. She can share the win.
Mr. Khalifa. I could say he is close. Xavier's close.
Yeah, but he's just on first term basis with the brand. So hey, Taco. All right. So with this, let's move on to our next logo. Are you ready? There you go. When I first saw this logo, I was a little confused. So I had got this mixed up with another one. Yes. So let's see if you've got it right. Yes, you have. The answer is Pepsi. But I don't know why I had a different image in my mind. And I thought this was another brand, which was, I don't know why I was confused. But I thought there was another brand who had the same colors. And I thought definitely not Pepsi, but something else. But then, yeah, I was wrong. So, all right. So the one who got that one right is, wait, who is it? Is it Toastmaster Asil this time? Yes, she is.
I immediately wrote Pepsi once I saw the logo.
Do you have this a lot as well?
I try not to drink a lot because too much soft drinks gives me stomach aches.
Yeah, not very healthy. We have Toastmaster Dr. Asha Pradeep here. I'm sure she would agree that no more Pepsis. Just as long as you're playing, it's good enough, but don't drink it. All right. So with this, we come to an end of today's entertainment scoop. I am sure you guys have had fun and looking forward for more such segments. And I'd like to thank my team, our wonderful timer, Toastmaster Vermeet, thank you so much. And Toastmaster Khulud, who was helping me out selecting the fastest finger first. And Toastmaster Faria, who helped me out select the games. And also we have Toastmaster Priya Darshan, whom we usually use him as a lab rat to test all our games on him before we present them to you. So I guess he's not here, his camera is off. But thank you so much to the team and to the wonderful audience and to our wonderful area director, Toastmaster Shiraz, who's helped me prepare the slides and also select that one logo which I did not know. So thank you once again to all of you for being such enthusiastic volunteers. And I will see you guys again in the next segment. A very good night and all the best to you all. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much, Farisa. That was so entertaining, so much fun. I didn't know how online entertainment was until you told me, and you taught us all how to do it. Well, is our keynote speaker in the house? Okay. Hello, everyone. From South Africa, celebrating her birthday a few days ago. The cherry on the cake, as Louise Tucker from Salem University called her, Verity Price. Verity Price is someone who is all about facing fears, finding her voice, and sharing the truth. Carrying her own name all along, Verity, the truth. V, you are someone who approaches life a little different. Quoting you, is your story being wrote for you or by you? Walking 1,200 kilometers across France and Spain in memory of your parents. And at other times, performing as a singer to a packed house in Nashville and New York. You are inspiration, not only by unleashing your talent, but also being good with money and investment. You are one of the first, if not the first ever, crowdfunder for your own music album, Journey 2008. The amazing songs, Push Me On, Crazy Not to Try. If we raise our voice just enough, someone will be listening. I don't know how to give you full credit for your life journey. You're a singer, songwriter, a successful businesswoman, with a charitable and authentic attitude, giving back to society on causes that you believe in, like women under abuse and struggling musicians. Also motivational speaker on strategy, innovation, and positive mindset for multiple organizations and industries. You hold a degree in psychology and anthropology from UCT, and it shows all over your ideology. You truly walk the talk, especially as an advocate for the environment. When you, as you once said in an interview on Heavy Chef, an educational platform back on 2020, advising your audience, change your relationship to single-use item made out of plastics. Very inspiring and personalized. Don't you all agree with me? You're an amazing storyteller. Twice on TEDx, distinguished Toastmasters, Southern African Champion of Evaluation 2015, and recently last year, being crowned the 2021 World Champion of Public Speaking. We are all so proud of you, and I'm sure your dad too. V, can you believe it that one time long ago, you were terrified of speaking in public? Well, you did it. You changed your world. You edited your story. Congratulations. A great read was the title of your speech last year. It touched everyone. And for me, I even got a tear at some point. My takeaway message was mentorship and the role of an active mentor in your life. The letter that traveled beyond borders of time and place and changed your life. So today, we are all looking forward to your session. And you, V, fulfilling your passion by helping change the world. As you say, one idea and one happy team at a time. You are a walking example of bonding beyond borders. Now, I would like you all to welcome Verity Price, delivering her educational session, 4 Steps to Write a Winning Speech. Unmuted? You're still muted.
I think we've still got a video. I'm crying. Oh. I can honestly say, I don't think I have ever been given such a beautiful introduction and such a warm welcome. The bonds beyond borders, I'm crying. You have made me cry. And I just feel so overwhelmed by this welcome and by all the wishes in the chat. And I will share with you all before I start that in a keynote I did on the weekend, one of the questions I got in the Q&A was, how do you still deliver if you're under the weather? Like if you're ill, how do you get it together and deliver? And I had lots of answers, but if someone had asked me, how do you deliver when you're overwhelmed? I can now tell them I don't have an answer. So I'm just going to speak from the heart, because wow, I was not expecting that kind of an introduction. I feel my heart is full up to the brim, and I could die right now a very happy woman. So that was a world champion introduction, if ever I've seen one. I'm just now trying to find my notes, and I definitely lost my place. Okay, hello, District 20. It is my privilege and my pleasure to be with you all this evening, and as we connect on this beautiful theme, bonds beyond borders. And that is certainly what I have just experienced right now. And this district is so close to my heart because you were such an integral part of me winning the World Championship of Public Speaking last year. And we're in the height of contest season. I know winning is on everyone's minds, and you know there's hopeful champions out there hoping they're going to win your contest this weekend. And so I just want to start by sharing a story of a man who loved to win. He wanted more than anything in the world to win the lottery. He thought, if I can just win the lottery, then my life will be perfect. And so every Saturday night, he would sit in front of his TV set and he would watch those numbers being drawn, and he wouldn't win. And so he'd be back the next Saturday and he wouldn't win. And this went on for months. And eventually, one night, in utter frustration, he looked up at the sky and said, why? Why do you never let me win? And a voice came down from above and said, you might want to buy your ticket. So my friends, in March of last year, I bought my tickets. I put my name into the hat of the International Speech Contest, and I committed to going on that journey and seeing where I took it. And I see that Mark Brown is here tonight as well, so he knows all about buying the ticket and seeing where this journey takes you. But the only reason I heard those magic words on the 28th of August last year that I was the 2021 world champion was because I bought my ticket. And if we want to get any results in our life, if we want to win at anything in our lives, it starts with buying the ticket. It starts with putting our names in the hat and seeing where that journey takes us. Now, last year was not the first time I entered the International Speech Contest. I entered for the first time way back in 2012, but I entered with not a great mindset. I entered with a mindset of, I'm pretty good at speaking. This will be fun. Let me just, write my speech the day before. I'll show up on the night. I'll probably win. I was a little bit arrogant, if I'm honest. And I walked into that club contest feeling pretty cocky, especially because my sister Kay was also entering, and she was so nervous. She had spent a month working on her speech. I felt sorry for her. I was like, oh, shame, this is really hard for her. You might see where this is going. She beat me. She beat me in club, and she showed me what happens when someone buys their ticket and does the work. She wasn't relying on talent. She was relying on having the right mindset. I have never seen someone work that hard, and that was just for the club contest. I then watched her win the area, and then division, and then district. She was the third woman to ever win in Southern Africa. And by then, my ego had gotten over being jealous of her beating me at club. And I became one of her mentors, and I saw the work that goes in to this speech contest and watched her go all the way to the world semifinals, where for the first time in 6 months, she came second. And she came second to a man who you might have heard of, Ryan Avery, because 2 days later, he became the world champion. And having witnessed Kay's journey, all I knew was that this was a contest that you only entered if you were prepared to do the work. And so I just didn't enter again for a long time because I thought, wow, this is a lot of work. And I don't have it. I don't have the right story. I don't have the time. And maybe just pop in the chat. Have you ever had excuses about why you haven't entered a speech contest? Just out of interest. I just want to see if I'm alone in having done that. Or have you ever, like, speech contest comes around and you think, I don't have the time. I don't have the right story. I know, yeah, when you're a quality director, you can't. So that's a good reason. That's why sometimes I think people agree to those big leadership jobs. But some of us, okay. I mean, I just know that there's often reasons why we don't and why we put a lid on our capabilities and we hold ourselves back. But Kay really inspired me with her humility, with the effort that she put in, with the fact that she read every manual she could find in Toastmasters to improve herself as a speaker. And she came second at the semifinals with the 6th speech she had ever done in her life, the 6th speech. And she got that far because she was open to learning. She was open to growing. She was open to receiving feedback and becoming the best speaker she could be. So when I entered last year, I decided to enter with Kay's mindset and not my 2012, I've got this, I don't have to work hard. And I gave last year's contest my all. I have never put in that much effort. The last 3 months, I worked probably 2 to 3 hours a day on my speeches. I've received feedback from countless Toastmasters around the world. I reached out for coaching from Lance Miller. I put my money where my mouth was. I paid for coaching. I made myself vulnerable to the growth that comes with daring to want to win. And it's changed my life. But the thing that really transformed me last year and was the kind of the cherry on the top is the theme of your conference, the bonds that I created beyond borders. And your district was one of the first districts when I heard I was through to the semifinals. You opened your doors to me and your Zoom account. I was welcome to practice both my speeches with your top evaluators, giving me the kind of welcome I've had today. And I was an unknown, you know, I was a hopeful from Cape Town, South Africa. And you welcomed me with open arms. And it was one of the first times that I really got to experience Toastmasters as an international organization, to realize that I wasn't just a Toastmaster at the tip of Africa. I was part of this huge organization. When you make the final 28 semifinalists, suddenly you realize that everyone is rooting for them, because I think we all know how hard it is to get to those semifinals. And by the time I reached the semifinals and ultimately the finals, my biggest lesson that I realized was that if whatever was going to happen with the contest, the speeches I was giving were not my speeches. They were our speeches. They were co-created through the feedback that I received from more than 200 Toastmasters around the world. That is a lot of feedback to take in. Let me tell you, if you found one evaluation club tricky, when you ask everyone to fill in a Google form and tell you what you could change about your speech, that's a lot to take in. But the speeches that I gave, my semi-final speech and ultimately my final speech, I truly believe the only reason I won was because I co-created those speeches with other Toastmasters. And I was able to speak at 42 clubs in 16 countries on 5 continents. And I realized that this crazy virtual world we're in has opened us up to creating these bonds beyond borders. And not just because they connect us in such beautiful ways, they also help elevate our skills. Because I'm the speaker I am right now because of the feedback I received. So my biggest takeout of the contest last year was, if you make friends with feedback, if you ask for feedback and you make friends with it and you incorporate it into your delivery and into your speeches, that is the quickest way to make friends with success. And I truly believe that when you make friends with feedback, you will make friends with success. And yes, there's 35,000 people that have entered the contest this year. We're down to probably 900. It's going to cut down to 124 district winners. That's going to get down all the way to 28 semifinalists. And ultimately in August, there's only going to be one winner. After all that work, only one person is guaranteed to win this contest. But you know what I've realized is that everyone else who's bought their ticket, who's put their name in the hat, is guaranteed to grow. And I truly believe that is the ultimate gift that this contest gives to everyone who enters it. Only one person is guaranteed to win. And on the call today, we've got 2 people that know what that feels like. But everyone else who's ever entered this contest knows the growth that they get. And I believe that is the gift that this journey of the International Speech Contest gives us. So talking about gifts, let's see in the chat who likes receiving gifts. And I like this to be interactive. I want to feel like we're in the room together. So just give me a yes, me, absolutely. I love gifts. When do I get it? I do, me, I see it coming through. If you love gifts, if you love giving gifts or receiving gifts, yeah, I love that. Alan really likes it. Is it chocolate? I only like getting gifts. Okay, always beautiful. Okay, so I love giving and receiving gifts, which means in my culture, Christmas is my favorite day of the year. There are piles of presents packed under our tree. We get to spend hours unwrapping them. I love it. But a few years ago, we decided to mix things up, and my sister Kay plays a huge role in my life, as you'll get to know the more you spend time with me. And she sat down and said, we need to disrupt Christmas. We waste all this time in the busy shops buying presents people don't need. Let's do things differently. And we decided that we were going to have a white elephant Christmas. Now, a white elephant, in case you don't understand the term, it's not an animal. A white elephant is a metaphor for something that you own that you never use. You thought it was going to be useful or valuable, and now it's just at the back of a shelf or the top of the cupboard. It's gathering dust. You never use it. So our plan was everyone who came for Christmas would bring a white elephant from their home, beautifully wrapped, to try and entice everyone else to open them. It made for a hysterical afternoon. There were small gifts, very big gifts, misshapen gifts, and people couldn't wait to see what was inside, only to unwrap an oversized coffee cup or a never before used cookbook, or my absolute favorite, a rusty, dusty hamster cage. This was on the back of someone's garage. Now, what interested me was that the more fun someone had unwrapping, whatever their gift was, the more fun they enjoyed pulling at the ribbon, tugging at the tape, unwrapping that paper, the more they seemed to want to take their gift home and make it meaningful to them. I got the oversized coffee cup and I looked at it and I said, wow, I'm going to turn this into a pot plant holder. My brother-in-law's bachelor best friend got the cookbook and he was like, I'm going to impress my next date. And my cousin, who got the hamster cage, looked at it, looked at us, and said, my daughter just said she wants a hamster. You're probably wondering, why is Verity telling us about her crazy Christmas traditions? Isn't she supposed to be speaking about how we write a winning speech? And I'll tell you why I'm telling you about this experience. In the 15 years I've been a professional speaker, in the 11 years I've been a Toastmaster, and in the 7 months it took me to win the contest last year, I've come to learn a very valuable lesson. And that is that a speech is a gift that you give to your audience. I really want you to think about this. A speech is a gift that you give to your audience. We call it presenting. It's got the word present in it. And so when we think about our communication as a gift for our audience, that they're going to take home, that they're going to make meaningful to them, it totally changes the way we write our speeches. And the beautiful thing is a speech can be about a white elephant moment or memory that's at the back of your mind. It's at the top of the shelf in your mind. You might have forgotten about that moment or memory. And when you're looking for speech contents, you might suddenly remember, like I did, a very small memory of running into a school friend who looked great when I looked terrible. And I had this awkward interaction in a supermarket with her. I hadn't thought about that in years. But when I dusted it off and I wrapped it up with my speech craft as part of my final speech, it became a really powerful part of my speech. And so sometimes we put a lot of pressure on ourselves to write these extraordinary stories about these huge moments in our lives. And we don't realize that something as small as your grandparents teaching you to boil an egg could become a world champion speech. And Mark, I think you're the one who said your story doesn't need to be sensational. It needs to be sincere. And I've just realized our lives are full of small little white elephant moments that we can make sincere and meaningful and fun for our audience to hear. Now, we've said we like giving gifts, we like receiving gifts. You do have a choice in how you wrap a gift. Okay, there are always choices. So you could just go like this. Here you go. I've got you a gift. Happy birthday, whatever it is. Or if you're really unimaginative, you could do this. Take all the fun out of it. And the reason I'm showing you this is sometimes as Toastmasters, we're doing this as early as the title of our speech. We're removing any intrigue from the equation. The audience knows exactly where we're going. So rather do this if this is how you're going to wrap your gift. Alternatively, you could wrap it like this and present it to someone. So if I was with you right now and I was offering you a gift, which one do you want? Let's just pop it in the chat. I want to see, would you like the bag or the box? Which one do you want right now, the bag or the box? This is like I see the box coming in from someone, box in capital letters, box, 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 few box. Box seems to be in the lead. Either is okay. We'll just take both. Box, please. Oh, I like that. You asked nicely. Okay, why are we saying box? What is it about the box that most people want the box? Why do you want the box? Let's hear. I'm interested to know why. It looks nicer. Okay, beautiful. I like that. The effort that's been made, it's beautiful. The color, some of it's just like the color, I love. It goes to show how you dress and show up as a speaker makes a difference. Wondering what's inside. It's the suspense, the wrapping, the bag, because I'm a skeptic. I love it. Surprise, the design. Okay, most people will go for the thing that intrigues them. Okay, and as speakers, the way we craft our speeches, the way we show up from the moment we step on stage, people are already going, have you made an effort? What's in this for me? And that's what I want to look at today, because we're always trying to create an emotional connection with our audience. We're trying to connect beyond borders with them. And there are certain ways and certain key things that make the difference. So the first thing that you want to create in your audience, which is what the box created for a lot of you, is curiosity. When an audience is curious, they're listening. You've got their attention. And so as early as your title, you can create curiosity. And you just have to look at some world champion speeches to see that curiosity is right there in the title. We've had titles like Changed by a Tire. That's going to make people curious. The Ultimate Question, The Librarian and Mrs. Montgomery, The Most Unbelievable Story. Ouch, I'm running out of titles here. But all of them make you interested. They grab your attention. They keep you curious. So as speakers, we need to look at how quickly can we elicit curiosity in our audience. Title's a good place to start, but little things like saying, and you'll never believe what happened next, and a good pause is going to keep them curious. So look for ways to create curiosity throughout your speech. The second thing you want to create is connection. We are speaking to the world, especially in the international speech contest, so you have to connect beyond borders. And so the way to connect is to speak about universal human experiences. Things like dealing with pride, overcoming adversity, being humiliated. You know, anyone will go, oh, I've been that, or stuck the frustration of a traffic jam. People who go, I've been there, I know what you're talking about. And now you've got your audience nodding. So always look at your stories and go, am I speaking to some people in the audience or everyone in the audience? And even with my final speech, I was speaking about being 40 and unmarried and no children. So I realized that maybe I was predominantly connecting with women. So I put a lot of attention into also speaking about my dad and about him losing a job and overcoming adversity and writing a different story so that I could also connect to the men in the audience. So sometimes we have to find different ways to connect with our audience, but look at your stories and go, can people put themselves in my shoes and will they feel connected emotionally to what I'm speaking about? Because if you've made them curious and they're feeling connected, you are going to get the third thing that you always want, which is commitment to your message, because you want them to take it home and make it their own. But curiosity and connection, I found through my journey last year, were the quickest way to ensure that I had commitment to my message at the end. So just keep these 3 C's in mind when you're writing your next speech and when you're trying to work out how to ensure that it is a gift for your audience. And so that's what I'm going to look at next, is how do we make sure it's always a gift? And these are 4 very simple steps that take a lot of work. They're simple to remember, easy to remember, but not necessarily that easy to do. But I believe if you approach speech writing from this perspective, it's going to take your speaking to the next level. And to make it easy for you to remember, I'm just going to unpack or unwrap the word gift. So you just have to remember the word gift and you will remember the 4 steps. So step number 1, the G, get clear on your message. If you've got 7 minutes to speak to the world, what is it that you want to say? And the trick with messages is they need to be 10 words or less. They need to be like the chorus of a song, easy for people to remember and to repeat. Now, ideally, they should be actionable. So mine was write a different story. It was very clear what I was telling people to do, write a different story. We've had messages like reach out, the victory is in the try, validate, a 1-word message. But we can walk away from that speech and we can remember what the message was. And this is not an easy step. I'm seeing with a lot of the people I'm coaching for the speech contest, beautiful speeches, incredible delivery. But even already at district level, they're sending me speeches where there's sometimes 2 or 3 messages. And we have to go, what is the one thing you're trying to say? And just say that. And have your speech support that one clear message. Diane Boyer says, if you can't say your message in a sentence, you won't be able to say it in an hour, let alone 7 minutes. So really spend time getting your message down to 10 words or less so that you can say it a few times in your speech in fun and different ways so that your audience can really integrate it and take it home like the chorus of a song that will be a refrain in their mind and become meaningful to them. Step number 1, get clear on your message. Not an easy step. It took me 90 days of working on my final speech before I got to write a different story. It was 10 days before the finals. I had get grateful, be happy. I mean, I had all sorts of message statements, but keep working till you find the one that makes your whole body go, yes, this is what I want to say, because it's your speech. Make sure you're giving the message you want to give. Okay, step number 1. Step number 2. Intentionally craft your story. I know it sounds obvious, but without the speech craft, without the story development, great speeches fall flat. So it's simple things like, are you creating the setting of your story vividly and quickly for your audience? Can you throw them in to where you are and when you are so that they can see it, taste it, touch it, feel it? And how quickly can you do that? In my final speech, I eventually got it down to, I was 40, unmarried, no children, and living in my sister and brother-in-law's spare room, eating ice cream, watching Netflix. I try to paint the picture of where I was, when I was, and what I was dealing with as quickly as possible. So always look at, is my setting set up really easily for my audience to understand? And then introduce them to the hero. Now, our most powerful speeches are often our own stories. So you will often be the hero of your story and you will have an obstacle that you're facing. And this is when the audience will be curious because they'll want you to overcome that obstacle. They want to see how are you going to get past the problem that you're facing. And this is where they will connect to you, because if the obstacle you're facing is similar to an obstacle they're facing, they're going to be even more invested in listening. And so this is where great speeches become absolutely engaging to watch because we build the tension. We have a bit of dialogue. We have a villain, that character that maybe we're dealing with, or maybe it's an internal villain, something we're struggling with. But that creates tension that keeps your audience on the edge of their seats. And if you are reliving that moment when you're sharing it, not retelling it, reliving it, seeing what you saw, feeling what you felt, that is when you know your audience will learn what you learned. And this is so important because often I see people telling their story, not living their story. So be in your setting, facing your obstacles, reliving it. And just when the tension's getting too much for the audience to bear, that's when the resolution needs to come in. And the resolution needs to come from someone or something else. We can never be the messenger, or as Craig Ballantyne says, the guru of our own story. We need to get a guru, an external guru who gives us the message. And then the hero needs to contend with that and then share how they were transformed, how they were humbled, what they learned, what they changed in their life. And once you've shared that, then it's really simple to hand the point of your whole story over to the audience so that they can take it home. So this is where we need to spend a lot of time. This is where having a coach makes all the difference with helping you to intentionally craft your story. But it is a game changer. Short, succinct, to the point, vivid descriptions, characters, dialogue, so that it's engaging and entertaining to listen to. Second step, to get clear on your message, intentionally craft your story. The third step is, in my opinion, the main reason I'm the world champion right now. And I spoke about this earlier around making friends with feedback and getting to connect beyond borders, because the third step is to fill in the gaps for your audience. This is where my speaking last year got taken to a level that I did not know was possible. When I started asking international audiences, what is missing in my speech? What could I do differently? What don't you need to hear? What do you need to hear more of? That's when I could craft a speech that was capable of winning, because my audience told me what they needed. And inadvertently, they were telling me what the judges needed, because if the judges weren't sitting there going, what did she mean by that? Or that doesn't make sense, then it meant I could score higher. So ask for feedback and then fill in the gaps for your audience so that when you're speaking, they're not thinking, they're not questioning, what? You want them to stay with you. And this is the hard part, because you are going to have to open yourself up to criticism, make friends with feedback, but ultimately that will help you make friends with success. Okay, so that's your third step. Final step, which I think is also where speeches and contests are won and lost, is to ensure that by the time you're concluding, you're tying it all together. And for me, a great conclusion is like the ribbon on the gift. It's like that final flourish, and then you hand it to them. So when I'm coaching people, by the time we're working on a conclusion, my entire focus is, how can I look at everything you've said so far and just thread it through into your conclusion? Did you have a beautiful speaker's triplet in your introduction? Can we reflect that in the conclusion, but show a transformation? Can we even bring your title in? What are the key moments in your speech that will just tie together as the conclusion and as your final call to action to your audience? Again, not a simple step, but if you've written the first part of your speech really well, and it's simple, and you're not touching on too many points, and it's easy to follow, then you should be able to take your golden moments and just thread them through and tie it all together in your conclusion. So that's the journey I believe I went on last year to work out how to deliver contest speeches that were a gift for my audience. They were written for my audience. They were what I wanted to give to the world. And when I spent time getting clear on my messages, intentionally crafting those stories, really getting into them so I could relive them, making sure I filled in the gaps for my audience and tying it all together in my conclusions, that I believe gave me the opportunity to deliver winning speeches. And I really hope that if you apply these steps to your own speeches, they're going to help you deliver winning speeches. And I think I saw in the chat, there's a link If you want everything I've just said to you, there's a little free booklet you can click and register, and you'll be sent a free booklet of how to write a winning speech. So please go and grab that and give yourself that gift. It's from me. And there's actually a surprise in there as well, a little extra added gift just to keep you curious. Go and check out what it is. And if you want any other help, if you're still going, how else do I take my speaking to the next level? Then I'm excited to say I have actually just finished a book, and it is on my website. It's called Present with Power. It's available as an e-copy. It's a PDF with templates to help you structure your speeches step by step and get to those messages and work on your delivery. And if that can help you take your speaking to the next level, I'd love to hear how it goes. But more important than any of that, your message matters. Your voice matters. And whatever that speech is that you have that you want to give to your next audience, then I only have one thing I'm going to ask you to do. And that is, please pick up your pen and write your winning story. Thank you, D20. My heart is full.
Thank you so much. That was so inspiring. You make it sound easy though.
It's a lot of hard work. Sometimes we need support. It's not easy. There's no shortcuts to writing winning speeches. You've got to commit to the hard work.
Because you're such a natural performer, it looks easy, but I'm sure you've done all your homework really well. You're a very good inspiration to all of us. If you would allow me to put in the chat box a link to your speech, the one that you provided last year, so everybody would have a chance to do that and look it up. Thank you so much for being with us today. Really, I enjoyed, was absorbing all the information in a relaxed and fun environment. I hope you visit us so much more, maybe in person now with COVID going down, and you can tour the area. And we're neighbors, like South Africa, North Africa.
Exactly. Exactly. No, I would, and you are, as I said, your district is very close to my heart. You really were cheerleaders for me, and it meant the world.
Yeah.
And I don't know if we wanted to do questions and answers. Were we still going to do any questions?
Yeah, that would be a good time to do it.
Any gaps I can fill in for the audience, this is your chance to ask me.
Nobody had a question? I have one.
Yes.
Okay. How can you juggle all of that? The writing, the singing. Are you still singing? How can
I
you
sing
juggle
at the end of my keynotes. That's as far as the singing goes these days. I'm full-time professional speaker and facilitator.
Wow.
But if you looked at my financials for last year, you'll see there was 2 months where I hardly earned anything because I was just focusing on the international speech content. So there was a lot of sacrifices, but I think I don't know if I shared with all of you, I had a premonition that I was going to win, and I didn't know where that came from, but something in me just said, give it everything. And so I did, and I was very lucky it paid off.
Amazing.
No, Khalid wants a song. If you go and get your free gift, you might find a song there.
So Asili, raise your hand. Would you like to unmute yourself and say the question? Can you unmute yourself, or you need someone to unmute? I can do that for you, I think. Are you unmuted now?
Just wanted to tell her, I believe we've met before in one of the clubs. She already answered my question on how to write successful speech. I'm still working on it, Verity, and I'm sure that next year it'll be successful and you're going to see me in divisions. Thank you for answering my questions. I just want you to wish me the very best luck. I'm going to keep trying and trying so I can become a champion like you. Thank you so much.
I think you were with your parents last time. Were your parents with you when I met you last? I think so. I remember you. Keep writing your speeches.
Yes, you did tell me a few points how to write a successful speech. I'm still brainstorming. I'm still deciding. Just wish me the very best luck and thank you very much.
I do. I wish you so much luck. Mark, I'm nervous for what you're going to ask me.
Well, hello. How are you, my dear sweet sister?
I'm so well. So good to see you.
Good. I'm going to ask you a question. I've asked you before in a different forum, but you mentioned the lottery winner, the person who did not enter by buying a ticket. And maybe you can help me. You can spare me some blushes here, because for the last 26 years, I have been asked, hey, Mr. World Champion, how come more women don't win the World Championship? And I thought to myself, I'm going to ask my new sister because she's a woman, and perhaps she can help our audience understand your perspective about answering that question. Simply put, what are your recommendations to give women a better opportunity to win the World Championship?
So I think it's such an important question. And there are a few angles we can answer it from. I know when Kay, my sister, reached the semi-finals, and Mark Hunter, I think, came and said to her, please come back. Yeah, that was a great speech, come back. And she was like, I don't have time to come back. I've got so many other things that I'm juggling. And so I think often for women, they enter and then the next year they might have children and they've got responsibilities, and it's hard to make the time, where I think for a lot of men, there's sometimes other support structures in place that, you know, you've got people like Lance who entered for 13 years in a row. I didn't have that in me. I had a toddler. Like, I wouldn't have entered again this year if I hadn't made it, because I wouldn't have had capacity. So I think that for some women, they've got a lot on at home, so they can't keep entering. And then I think not so much virtually, but on stage, just sometimes the presence that a man will have over a woman, whether we mean to or not, might bias the judges, you know, and sometimes people comment on voice and pitch, you know, so some women, they dress in a power suit, and we shouldn't have to do that. You know, I think, you know, we should be judged on our merits. But I think what we're seeing now is an equal representation of voices and messages that are coming through. And I think more and more women are committing to the hard work and saying, I'm going to come back. I'm not going to stop. But I do think for some women, if once you've got a family, you can't keep entering. I might be wrong. That's my theory.
Well, would you make one specific recommendation? I'll be quiet after this. I promise, Khalid. I'll stop talking.
No, good.
But is there one specific recommendation that you would make besides you can't win if you don't enter, just to encourage those who are considering entering the contest, since so few women have won in the first place?
So enter so that more women can win. That's my recommendation. But make your story universal. You know, find that way that it connects to everyone. And I think, as I said, my journey with my second speech was going, this is a very woman-centric story. How do I make sure everyone resonates? And I think we need to remember to do that. Yeah.
So Wala Osman, you raise your hand. I will unmute you.
Yes, well, thank you. Thank you, Verity, so much for the beautiful tips. And I have a question regarding the online contest and the medium itself. So we have to look at the camera all the time. And I do have a dialogue in my speech where I have to look to the right and the left. So how do you think, sometimes the voice even is not caught by the mic. So how do we, tackle all of that while looking straight in the camera? Like eye contact in an online meeting.
Yeah. So I think there is a bit of a misconception about eye contact, because I know when I was rehearsing last year, people would say, oh, you broke eye contact because you were doing an interaction with your mother. And I was like, yes, because that's natural. You don't keep eye contact the whole time you're speaking to someone. If you're looking off and remembering or looking at something, that's key. Your audience is engaged. They're going, what are you looking at? You know, and then come back to your eye contact. So don't be afraid to make this a space where you're talking to someone and you could be looking them up and down and can you believe what I'm seeing here? And look, that makes it engaging. So this is not about, you want good eye contact, but if you're wanting to make your scene come to life, you're going to have to break eye contact at times and make the space around you feel three-dimensional. So don't be afraid of that. And if you've got a good lapel mic, your sound should be good. Oh yeah, a little headset. Yes, as Mark's saying a headset.
Like Khaled, yes, he's all set. He could do anything
Yeah,
he
I can
wants.
see
You'll
that.
still hear him. It's just right there. It's wonderful. Yeah.
So any more questions? Yes. PQD Khaled Abdullah.
Thank you so much, Master of Ceremonies. Thank you so much, World Champion of Public Speaking, Verity. Thank you so much, World Champion of Public Speaking, Mark. Since we have both of them, I have a question for both of you. And let's see how this would go. Now, DTM Verity, you've been a World Champion of Public Speaking during COVID. So you've done it through online. And World Champion of Public Speaking, Mark, you did it the physical way. What would you do if you switched? What would you have to do if you had to redo it again online, Mark? And what you'd have to do if you do it physical, DTM Verity? That's the question.
Wow.
Ladies first. Ladies first. And Verity, be honest, tell the truth about had it not been virtual now. Tell the whole story. Okay, I know the whole story.
I wouldn't have entered if it hadn't been virtual, because I had left Toastmasters. I was a mother, new mother. I can't say young mother because I was a 44-year-old mother. I was a new mother. And I wouldn't have entered because, and again, that's why I'm saying a lot of women don't enter because they don't have the time or the capacity. But if I had entered in earlier years, for me, it would be how I'd use that stage, because what you lose on stage, that the virtual gives you all these funny things you can do, and that you don't have that with the stage. You know, if someone's at the back of the room, they're not getting that close-up audience of one experience. So I would have had to really elevate my game. I also would have had to write a shorter speech, because virtual, you're not having to cut time for laughs. And that is a real luck, because sometimes you can get thrown, they suddenly laugh for 15 seconds where you only betted on them laughing for 5, and you can get disqualified. So that would be, I would have had to change my speech and shorten it so that I could have had audience interaction. And so it would have been even more work than it was. Mark.
For me, it would certainly have been a challenge. Now, thankfully, when COVID hit, I got very used very quickly to speaking in the virtual environment. I've been able to do that very well. But as a contestant, I too would have been challenged with the space. Those who have seen my presentation, it's on YouTube, it's out there for anybody to see. That was 27 years ago. It's also quite possible there are individuals here today who were not born when I won the title 27 years ago. And you will remember, those who saw the recording, that I spoke and became one of the characters in the presentation. That would have been difficult without being on the main stage within a virtual environment to pull that particular piece off. I could do it by going back and using as much as I could, but definitely the space would have restricted me. And as a matter of record, I did have the audience laugh unexpectedly in my presentation when I said the word why. If you watch the video, when I say why after I say kill the beast, look at my face as I'm wondering, why are you all laughing? And I'm counting in my mind, oh, wow, my time's going past. What do I do now? That's all going through my head at that moment. You will see my face on the film. Go watch it afterwards. But certainly, having had the last 2 years of virtual, I probably could do well now. But had it been virtual to begin with, I would have definitely been challenged with the space and having to focus not only at the camera, but I learned being able to look through the camera. And one of my lines is, focus on your friends behind the lens. Focus on your friends behind the lens. Don't look at the camera, look through the camera. And if you can, put somebody behind you who you love. And you can talk to them while you're at the camera. It'll certainly change things. Bottom line, I would have been challenged and more restricted, but I think I could have pulled it off.
Thank you. Thank you so much for both of you for being here. Thank you so much. Back to you, Master of Ceremonies.
Well, wow. Having two world champions with us.
Someone clicked the video.
Someone's playing the video.
Yes. I was searching it for it. I can't miss that opportunity to
You
put
found
it in
it,
the
yeah.
chat box for everybody to watch. Isn't that cool? Now,
That's a first for me.
yes, with Corona and we are all locked in our houses. Now we have so many tools and yet so little tools at the same time. Thank you for describing this for everyone. And if there is no any other question, oh, that's Higazi. Yep. Can you? Hello.
Yes, hi. Now, thank you for taking my question. I actually have a question. It's something that I've been struggling with for quite a while now. Basically, improvising versus having everything written down on a piece of paper. So I can remember one time at a club, we had some time. So I gave a speech that was written down on a piece of paper, every single word, and I was just reiterating it. And there was time for another speech. So I gave another speech, but I had the points written down. Both were my stories. And I used my improvisation skills to go at this. And the feedback I got afterwards with the second speech that was not written down, that kind of resonated with the audience. So I thought to myself, and I've done this a lot of times. Every time I improvise, it comes across better than as if it were written down. I spoke to a friend of mine who was an advanced speaker, and he said, "Well, Mohammed, it could be true, but in my case, I have in some of my speeches, I have rehearsed the speech 300 times. And if you rehearse the speech so many times, you become part of the speech." So my question is, how do you go about this? Do you write everything on a piece of paper and reiterate word for word? Or do you just write down the bullet points, have the words ready, but have that freedom to actually change if need be? Because I think the latter is better or works better for me, because the connection, the audience feel it, as opposed to me thinking of the papers and thinking of every word I have written down. That, I don't know, the connection is less for some reason. So how do you go about this? That's my question.
Mark, do you want to jump in? I'll jump in. Can share it.
I always honor ladies first. You are the guest speaker today. I'm just simply an attendee who was tagging along. So I yield to you first, Verity.
Okay. So I think it's such a great question. And when it comes to speaking, not Toastmaster or not contest, sometimes having those bullet points, maybe having rehearsed your introduction and your conclusion, so you know how you're starting and how you're finishing, can make for a very authentic, relatable, adaptable speech. So there's nothing wrong with doing that at all. When it comes to contest speaking, then it is a written speech. It's a word for word speech. There's no space for moving around, not if you're wanting to do well in terms of the judging, because it's very technical. And we're looking for language and delivery and timing, and you have to plan that. But to get to what you want to get to, the trick that I do is I write the speech, and then it's kind of from here, and I've put in what I think is funny. And then when I start to speak it, it's like, this is not how I speak. So I print out my speech and I practice it standing over here, speaking it. And then I retype it into my spoken voice. And then I find the humor and then I type it. So it still becomes a rehearsed piece, like a one woman or one man show, where that comedian or that actor knows word for word, but it looks like they're doing it for the first time. But practice in your natural voice and then type it like that. And that might help you keep that connection. There's still space for a little bit of shifting here and there in the moment. But for contests, and I've had people coming for coaching going, I don't write my speeches. I was like, well, then you're not going to win a contest. So we have to write it down, and we have to learn how to write it in that natural voice. And that's where the hard work comes in. So it's both approaches work, but for contests, write it down, then redo it in your natural voice and rewrite it in your voice, not your written voice, your spoken voice.
Yeah, I agree. For contests, I wrote it out. If you watch my contest speech, you will hear triplets. We say triads here in North America, Verity, but you'll hear deliberately chosen language that was not spontaneous. That was not off the cuff. I had to write that for effect. But here's an idea for everyone to consider. It's your story. If you try too hard to write your story word for word, it doesn't sound natural, right? I guess it doesn't sound natural. I recommend you do this. Record yourself telling the story and then transcribe that. Record yourself telling the story, transcribe it. You have a written version of it, and there are tools for you to do that. As a matter of fact, I'm going to recommend a tool right now called Yoodli, YOODLI.ai. YOODLI.ai. Will someone please put it in the chat for it? It's an artificial intelligence tool, allows you to rehearse, you record yourself, and it gives you a free transcript. When you look at that transcript, you'll say, that sounds like how I speak, which means you're now able to manipulate that transcript, and you can insert the language you wish to insert for specific effect, but it sounds a lot more like you than trying to write it out first and then sound like yourself. I'm saying the same thing Verity said, but in a reverse fashion. Record yourself saying it with a transcript, use that transcript as your base script, and then modify that. And that way, it'll sound a lot more like you much more quickly, and you can make slight modifications. I recommend you try it. YOODLI. YOODLI.ai. And I'd love to know how it works out for you. But yes, I will say this one more thing. For the contest, it's too intricate. Take no chances. Prepare yourself, write that out, and internalize it, which means you're not thinking about the words. You're now concerned about how can I give the audience the gift, Verity, the gift I worked so hard to prepare for them. So much so, if I were to shake you awake at 2:17 a.m. and say, give your contest speech. Now, there's no reason for me to be in your bedchamber at 2:17 a.m. It's a different story. But at least then you'll be ready to just do it. It's not here. It's here. I hope that helps. Thank you, Faisal.
Beautiful.
Thank you so much. This is beautiful. And I think if we have this chance and we keep on talking with you, we'll keep you till midnight. So I would like to just acknowledge our DTM Ali Shahbaz is here, Region 11 International Director. Hello, how are you?
Hello, everybody. My fear is at times that, trust me, I've been to so many conventions, seeing Mark and Verity in one box, it's very hard to find. And it's an honor to be with them here. That's the sad part I see, that we might go towards post-pandemic and lose these opportunities. So let's see what we have in future. Maybe hybrid is the future. Let's see. But thanks to the district DTAC chair, Vishal, district PQD, Didi Alifia Lakrawala, and everybody here to make this possible. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Well, we'll take a last question, and then we'll go taking a good photo with everybody. So be ready with your cameras after this question. Rashid, Toastmaster Rashid.
Yes, thank you so much, Master of Ceremonies. My question to both the world champions. First of all, I would like to say one thing, that please do not get my question wrong, because I believe I asked the same question back in 2011 or 2012 to one of the world champion, and Brother Ali Shahbaz Ali was sitting next to me, and not only the world champion laughed, but all of the audience, more than 200 people, they laughed. As Toastmaster World Champion has mentioned, that do not deliver a sensational speech, deliver a sincere speech. So my question, obviously, that what one thing, apart from your hard work or dedication or writing a speech, one thing which is a unique quality which made both of you the world champion, obviously, because out of 300,000 plus members, there is something unique that you got and you be a world champion. Please, my question to both the world champions.
That's like a district level table topics question. That's a really great question. I don't know. I think it's because, I mean, in any given other year with other judges, you know, I might have been knocked out of division. It's maybe it's fate and people are meant to become world champions. I really don't know, because I'm seeing with coaching people with great speeches are getting knocked out at district level, and they are world-class speeches, and no one's going to hear that speech this year. So I think this is a contest that is won and lost based on the judging process that different people go through. I feel incredibly privileged that I was lucky enough to keep moving through. I did the work that I know is required and what the judging ballot looks for. So I think anyone who makes the finals has followed the rules. Generally, Mark, I think you'll agree. But it's just that sometimes there's a story that resonates and the delivery of it, it's the right time on that day. But in every year, I believe there were probably 5 other potential world champions that just didn't get through the channels. That's my opinion. And that's why I feel very humbled and privileged to have this title. But I know that if Mark had been in my final, I wouldn't be here. So
I am so thankful, Verity, for the rule that says when you win, you never enter again. Okay. And I agree with what you said, Verity, because what is not known to the whole Toastmasters world is in 1995, the year I won the world championship, I finished second in my club contest. But there is a little known rule in Toastmasters. In areas with 4 or fewer clubs, the district has the option to allow first and second place. That's correct, Andata. First and second place to advance. I was given a second chance. And oddly enough, my final talk was called a second chance. So on any given day, you may lose. And I'm sure everyone here at some point has witnessed a contest. When it was over, you said, wait, how did they win? So I agree, Verity. On any given day, count yourself blessed for a chance to keep going, but you must put the work in. And even after we win, we continue to do the work. We continue to get coached by others, and we continue to improve our game. All I can say is do your best, share your gift, serve your audience, love your audience. And on a given day, a judge or two may say, yes, you are the best on that day. Be thankful and make the most of it.
Thank you so much. Very, very, very inspiring. So our director, Alithia Laktawala, I think you're in the house. Okay, so one last question, because you are very dear to my heart, Murali. We're running out of time. You know, we will need to be on schedule, but you're dear to my heart. I cannot say no to you.
To be unmuted.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. First of all, happy birthday to our world champion. And I remember you, just after you were winning your world championship, you were part of our contest here in District 20. You had sent your video message because you couldn't come here at the time. I wish you a long life with good health, more wealth, and better prosperity. My dear brother, Mark Brown, I did not know you till 3 days back, but believe me, your speech on that day was something which I have been trying to go to the website and go and listen. You are something, in my Indian language, I should say, you are separated. You are too good. And the way you communicated to us, attracted by your words, I'm sure in 1995, when you are at this tender age, young age, you are like this. What would have been before 36 years, 7 years back? Amazing. It was a life story. And I'm sure each one who was present on that day were with you. I was literally with you, the way you explained. I'm very happy for District 20 for organizing such a beautiful event. My question is nothing. Till date, I've never competed in any contest because I've been in a different way of Toastmasters in a leadership role. But should God willing, after once I come to some level, I would like to come back to, I will come to a competition level. Who knows? I may join your elite club, inshallah, in the years to come.
That's the spirit. Well, now I would urge you all to open your cameras and take the photo together. Who will be taking the shot?
DTM Vishal.
Where
Dearest
did you
Toastmaster.
go?
Dearest Toastmaster. All righty then. Okay,
Yes,
let's see how many people are going to start opening up the cameras. Wow, this is a great opportunity.
We have the future WCPS here, Sham.
All righty then.
Come on, everybody. V, where did you go? Did your camera go off?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so let's just go for a V. Verity's V.
V is it?
All right, let's
You are
click.
the best, all of you.
Clicking in 1, 2, and 3. Thank you very much.
We also means, our DTAC chairman.
Vishal.
So
Thank you,
now,
DTM
after a
Murli.
very exciting session and such a lovely family gathering together, we need now to be distributing our certificates.
Yeah. Before that.
Okay. Who's ready to share that?
Maybe I'm crazy thinking that this might work. Maybe I'm crazy wanting something that might hurt. Maybe it's madness to start something that might end. Maybe it's easier to just not begin. Now maybe delusional, believing this stands a chance when so many before have proved that good things don't last. Seems a little bit naive to step in anyway, but I'd be crazy if I didn't take a step around the corner, confronting all that I don't know, the storms that I might weather, the times of being out of control, not having all the answers was never a reason not to try. What if the right brothers hadn't believed that they could fly? Believe that they could fly. I'd be crazy not to try.
Thank you, District 20.
Thank you so much for being with us today. It was super amazing. Thank you so much. Vanity Prize, world champion last year, and forever in our hearts.
And in mine. Thank you. You have made my heart so full tonight, everyone. Wow.
Well, I would like now to call DTAC Vice Chair of Business Affairs, Sapphire Yusodas. Well, he's a passionate Toastmaster with a rich of 7 years in Toastmaster journey. Through his life, his motto is "Life is a journey of excellence." By profession, he's Assistant General Manager, working with the Mola Group, for 22 years of rich automotive experience. Well, help me all. Put your hand together now, and the floor is yours. Safar.
Thank you. Your life is a book. If you are not enjoying the read, write a different story. A very good evening to our wonderful guest and world champion public speaking Verity Prize. A very good evening to you, as well as a very happy birthday to you. Also, our past world champion public speaking Mark Brown, international director Ali Shahbaz Ali, respected district director Alifia Lakdawala, DTM Khalid Abdullah, our PQD, CGD Khalid Jalal, my dear Toastmasters and friends. Few years back, a small boy was hanging on the fingers of his mother, going to a feast. He asked, "Mommy, why this feast is so many days?" She said, "Son, a lot of stars are coming and doing wonders during this feast. You will see a lot of shoppers, sellers coming here. They will do a lot of different activities during the feast. You will listen to wonderful speeches by different personalities here during this feast. DTAC, it looks like me, it's like a feast going on, a long feast going on. It has been, for the last 4 days, we have been enjoying wonderful sessions by different personalities. But today is a very special day. The world champion public speaking has come today to deliver a wonderful speech. And differently, she taught us today that your speech is the best gift you can give your audience. Thank you very much, madam, for giving a very rich, contentful speaking and deliver to D20 today. We are all amazed with your speech and valuable feedback and so much technicals enriched today. So you have gifted us a lot of things from the D20, every members of D20 Toastmasters, from the heart, we all want to gift you a lot of love and affection to be with us during this auspicious day and time. Once again, we had a lot of activities yet to come in the coming days. And my thanks to all distinguished personalities blessed us today in this ceremony. Once again, we had a MC coming all the way from Egypt. She made this session very beautiful. Our entertainment session was awesome. And all the people who attended, once again, on behalf of the DTAC committee, I would like to thank MC Hoor and her team today to make this day a wonderful day. Over to you and back to MC.
Thank you so much. It can't happen without the whole teamwork. Now, I would like to call our district director, Leti Lakdawala. The mic is yours.
Thank you, Master of Ceremonies. I would like to acknowledge the presence of our International Director, Region 11, DTM Ali Shahbaz Ali, our Program Quality Director, DTM Khalid Abdullah, Club Good Director, DTM Khalid Jalal, Division Leaders, Area Leaders, Club Leaders, our DTAC Vice Chair, Toastmaster Vishal, who is also our Division E Director, the DTAC team, all the Vice Chairs and the committee heads and the subcommittee members. Thank you. I think what energy and planning which has been seen today shows that there has been a lot of work going on in the background. And thank you, Verity, for gracing District 20 with your presence today. It's always an honor for us to see that how people come and how each of a Toastmaster is welcome not only in District 20, but all over the world. This theme of Born Beyond Borders definitely signifies the meaning with having 4 countries of District 20 proudly presenting each and every role player today, and our educational speakers, our guest role players. So thank you. It was definitely an honor for the entire district today to have you and hear your speech, the gift what we give today to you on your special day. That's your birthday. It's lots of blessings, lot more success, and may you reach greater heights. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So let's make the day adjourned. Thank you everybody for joining today with the energy, the love, the bonds beyond borders, with all the language barriers. We broke them with English, with all geographical borders. We broke them with warmth. Thank you all. And I would like to call the day adjourned.